on each key. That would probably drive me mad. That many different switches. But having a separate numpad, that's a good idea. I like this. I like the idea of that. You like blue as well? You haven't tried green, but that's a great concept. Yeah, I don't know if it'll work out. We'll see. I thought in my head, I wanted to try both switches, and I didn't want to just like randomly do like half blue, half green, and then I feel like that would drive me mad too, having no rhyme or reason to it. But having them on just a few keys that have some heavier meaning made sense for a heavier switch, so to speak, you know? I don't know, I'm a dork. What can I say? But I've been liking it so far. Not to get too nerdy with it, but these mechanical keyboards have software on them to control what key does what when you press it, and in my case controls the lights on it, what colors they are, what patterns they have, what animations those colors have. This firmware on there, and the particular firmware on this particular keyboard is pretty complicated, and it uses C, the C programming language, which I haven't coded C in forever. So that's going to be a fun little project if I decide to customize the keyboard's lights, because that is the most complex part. But I'll let you know how it goes if I decide to jump into that level of nerdery. But for now, let's talk about food, because I am getting hungry, and I'm looking forward to the lamb we're doing tonight. So I forget if we've done kofta before on stream. I feel like we must have. We've certainly done meatballs, and they're essentially meatballs, but they're from the Middle East, I think. And there's the spices that are used in it are really great, really good complement to lamb as well, like warm spices. And all that, the lamb, the spices, the seasonings, just come to life when you grill them. So yeah, that's why I'm really looking forward to it. It's not Fortran. That is true. At least it's not Fortran. I never even learned Fortran. I think I arrived in college late enough that that had already been like, okay, this language is on the way out. I did do C in college, but that's, I don't know, years ago. And yeah, it's been a while. Kofta. So you can spell it two different ways. I've seen it spelled K-O-F-T-A. The Serious Eats recipe that I'm using tonight is K-O-F-T-E. And actually, I'm surprised your exclamation menu didn't work. I thought I had that set up as an alias for exclamation recipe. Let me do that now while I'm thinking about it. Oh, wait. That's why it's not an alias, because I moved away from using Stream Elements for doing the recipe. That's right. The overlay is now in control of doing the recipe links. So let me pop that into chat. And I'll have to put an alias on the overlay software so that it also responds to exclamation menu. But that's how the Serious Eats recipe spells it. And yeah, they're essentially Middle Eastern spiced meatballs. So looking forward to it. I'm off this weekend, so yes, just have to get through Friday. Well, that's good. I like to say to your junior colleagues, no matter how busy it might seem, at some point it will all come to an end. That is true. That is true. Hey, Noodle, how are you? How's your Friday getting off, too? It looks like you're sleepy. You're gonna try some kofta tonight? Nice. Well, let us know what you get, and take pictures if you can, because I'd love to see, compare my homemade versions to professional ones. I'm assuming you're ordering them. Yeah, you just woke up? Well, good morning, Noodle. Happy Friday. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I hope your Wednesday wasn't too bad. It sounded like it was off to a little bit of a rough start. I hope it ended up being okay. Your Caesar salad looks great, by the way. I've never had soft, well, jammy yolk eggs with Caesar salad before, and I like the idea of that. I might have to try that sometime. I feel like that would go well with Caesar dressing for sure. I guess I never thought of it because you put egg in the dressing when you make it from scratch, so it seemed like it might be too much egg, but you know, it's like mayo. You don't really realize there's egg in the dressing unless someone tells you. It's just creamy. So having actual egg in there is a really good idea. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of prep to get started. There actually isn't a ton to do in this recipe, which is kind of nice, but I want to make sure all of our meats are en place before we get started, so I'm not caught off guard. So let's see, I'm gonna get some cucumber. I'm gonna get some homemade or homegrown. I almost said homemade, which I guess is technically sort of true. Homegrown tomatoes. I think everything else I need right now. Oh, mint. I need mint. Everything else might be already out. Sitting out. All right. It was great. You needed something leafy. Nice. I'm glad it turned out well. No worries, Stuart. Yeah, if you missed me talking earlier, Stuart's at a work happy hour right now, so he's a little late to the stream, but as you can see, he is on his way. Sounds like he's just leaving now, because 20 minutes sounds about right from where he was in town. So I'm going to start with making just a very simple cucumber, tomato, shallot salad kind of thing. Not technically part of the recipe, but we have these homemade, I keep saying homemade, homegrown tomatoes that I think would be really good for this. All the places that deliver use beef. Ah. Lamb kebab works. Yeah, essentially the same thing. May not have the same spices, but should be pretty similar. That shallot looks like it's gone moldy, so I'm not going to use that one. This one looks okay though, so we'll try that one. Yeah, I'm not surprised most places use beef. I feel like lamb is not very popular in the US, both because a lot of people aren't used to lamb. They don't like the gaminess of it. And also, it's expensive. Since it's not super popular, I feel like it is hard to get, so that ends up driving up the price. So people don't get it because it's expensive. So yeah. And you can definitely do even this recipe with beef. It's not quite the same. I feel like it lacks a little bit of the complex flavor that you get with lamb, obviously, if you use beef, but it's still tasty. Your body is all kinds of sore having to do everything yourself. Oh yeah. Are you doing any kind of like stretches or like cool down type exercises? That can sometimes help reduce the amount of soreness or stiffness you get after doing a lot of physical work. You're sandwiched between two execs, oh gosh, in a very loud venue, so you get a lot of good one-on-one time, but had trouble excusing yourself. That happens to me all the time. The hardest part for me in going to any kind of social gathering is gracefully leaving. And so I end up waiting for someone else to leave, and then I kind of ride on their coattails. But I'm kind of socially awkward to begin with, so that shouldn't come as a surprise, really. All these places serve lamb too. You don't know why it's not an option. Oh, that is weird, yeah. They're just weird places then, I guess. I think a lot of people here too is not used to having lamb as well. Like as a daily meat, yeah. I don't know anywhere that, I suppose the Middle East, if anywhere, might, maybe even India, might have lamb more frequently, although I guess in India it might be goat more than lamb. What meat is popular in Singapore, Noodle? Or is it more vegetarian focused? I would assume something like chicken or seafood maybe. Seafood probably being Singapore. But that's just me hazarding a guess. Oh, another lamb is ground. Well, it's pretty easy to grind lamb, but I guess that might be labor they're not willing to do. Or, you know, don't have time to do if they've got a lot of stuff on their menu. Everyone should have a button so they can say, so they can T-pose and say, I'm out. Gonna go with beef kofta since you haven't had that style. Yeah, give it a shot. I'd be curious what you think of it. Chicken is the first option, yeah. Yeah, kids love chicken, yeah. Same here. Most kids' menus, if they have a meat option, it's gonna have chicken on it. And most things are gonna be chicken. The exception of maybe a burger or a hot dog, if that's on the kids' menu. I always avoided kids' menus because they always had, you know, grilled cheese, hot dogs, hamburgers. I was like, I want the stuff that's on the big people's menu. But I'm probably a weird case because, you know, I grew up with foodie parents, so that kind of ended up rubbing off on me. And I think I already told you all about the story about the mussels. How I introduced my parents to mussels. Turn the music up? Okay, I can do that. I think I turned it down. Oh, I'm not even showing you my... I'm sorry, y'all. Forgot to change it to the cutting board. Alright, music's a little bit louder now. Isn't ground lamb usually mostly beef anyway? What do you mean? You certainly can mix lamb and beef. But I don't know if you mean like in restaurants, typically they do that and just say it's lamb. I feel like restaurants would tell you if it was a mix. Especially in the States where lamb is sometimes considered less desirable, typically. So you'd want to know, oh, there's a bit of beef in there to kind of cut through it. Then maybe beef, then fish and seafood, and then lamb or mutton. Okay. Good to know. I would have thought seafood would have been higher in the list, since y'all are, you know, next to the ocean. Don't remind you how your younger cousin doesn't eat traditional food at near tween age. What do they eat? Had a pretty bad diet early on as kids, then mom and dad got super into world cooking and never looked back. Nice! At your average kebab place, the lamb in gyros is mostly beef. That's true. I have seen in a lot of gyro places, or hero, depending on how you pronounce it, it's a mix of lamb and beef. I don't know if that's traditional. It might be traditional. Although traditional gets difficult to define with heroes. But anyway, I see that a lot in the US, yeah. You always get adult menu when Sizzler was a thing? What is Sizzler? But yeah, I often... You know, we often went to places, restaurants that didn't necessarily have a dedicated kids menu anyway, but if we did go to a place that had a dedicated kids menu, I would look at it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna look at the adult menu now. I totally blame my parents for that, or at least my mom, because, you know, my mom kind of learned to cook when she started to cook for the family. Like, she didn't really grow up with foodie parents and didn't really know much about cooking, but she had a desire to learn more about cooking. And so, you know, her experimentation and being as good of a cook as she was definitely kind of, I guess you could say, inspired the rest of us to expand our horizons too. Classic Greek-American hero meat is made with a mixture of 85% beef and 15% lamb. Wow, that's more beef than I thought it would have been. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Based on when I've ordered heroes in the States, yeah. And that's from Serious Eats. Yeah, I'd believe it. I think I made heroes on stream using a Serious Eats Kenji recipe. I think it was all lamb. But it's been a while since I made that. I need to make that again. That was really good. Yep, these are homegrown tomatoes. I think I've got maybe one more homegrown tomato to use, and then that'll be it. There aren't any more tomatoes on the plants yet. And honestly, I'm not really expecting there to be more until it starts to cool down, but you never know. Sizzler was a steak restaurant with an all-you-can-eat salad bar. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a place that would have a kids menu that was cheaper, if nothing else. For parents who don't want to risk spending lots of money on a expensive meal for a kid. And then being like, I don't like this. Also saying the traditional Greek hero is usually thinly sliced marinated pork shaved off a rotisserie. And the rotisserie, I feel like, is the essential part of a hero meat preparation. Interesting that it's pork, though. Let's cut some of this skin off. I don't mind a little bit of cucumber skin, but it can get a little... It's very firm. It can sometimes not be very pleasant to eat. So I don't mind a little bit of it, but too much is very fibrous. Holding out for a hero. Isn't that a song or something? I don't know I didn't realize a traditionally Greek hero was pork. That's interesting. I also read somewhere that heroes, like, everyone says they're Greek, but it's actually something that's kind of has multiple influences, and so it's hard to kind of define traditional when it comes to heroes. But if the Serious Eats page for it says that, I'll have to go back and read that. I love reading about the history of different food items. Tossing the tomato with salt and pepper here, just because marinated tomatoes always taste better. I feel like anything you marinate tastes better, but that for some foods that's more true than others, and definitely true for tomatoes. Basically any Mediterranean dish. I suppose that's true, yeah. That is very true. But maybe some dishes more than others. Thank you, JFry. Appreciate that. Gotta meet up with some friends before they head out of town from their vacation. No worries, App. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun with your friends. Tell them everyone that Andrew Cook says hello and watch their confused faces. Oh yeah, so sounds like Stuart's home. Sunday. I was hoping to brew our next beer on Sunday, but unfortunately the shipment is delayed, so it's not going to be happening this Sunday. So I got to figure out what we're going to make instead. Wow, someone has a high opinion of himself. Welcome back. He's getting his microphone ready.
I'm not allowed to quote Disney movies on this channel.
What Disney movie is that from?
Tarzan.
Oh, really?
I think so. Doesn't one of the monkeys go, "The fun has
Oh,
arrived"?
yeah, I forgot about the monkey side plot. Yeah. Probably.
That's all I remember about that movie.
You're probably right.
That, and it was the one Kingdom Hearts world they could never revisit.
Yeah.
Hello! I am back from happy hour. I told Andrew I would try and be back at 7:30 at the latest, and I was only 10 minutes late.
Oh, yeah. Good timing. So I don't know if you heard this part of the stream, but I was saying how, yeah, depending on where you're seated in a group situation, it can be very difficult to slip out.
Yeah, I was like towards the end of a table, and I was kind of a conversational pivot, and so I kept turning between my left and my right and trying to like pull in the people on my left and right, vice versa. I feel like I never try to sit next to my boss at happy hours.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can run out of conversation material, and there's probably somebody who desperately needs to talk to them about business things.
Possibly. You shouldn't be doing it that at a happy hour, but yeah.
Pshaw. But I, like, left a chair between us, and then it was literally impossible to hear him talking to me, and so I had to scoot over. So I was next to my boss and another executive, and we had a good time.
Good.
Every time I looked down at my watch, 25 more minutes had gone by. I seriously looked down at my watch.
I know
and
how
like,
that goes.
Oh, it's 6:25. I've got plenty of time to get back for the stream. And then I looked down and it was 7:05, and I'm like, what the hell?
Well, good. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad it wasn't the kind of thing where you're counting down the minutes until you could leave.
It was at a Mexican restaurant with a Hawaiian luau theme. The Hula Hut, if you've ever been there.
Nope.
And my god, did they order appetizers.
Oh, yeah? You have anything good?
They
hope you
had a mixed plate that had like a salad, 2 tacos, a small thing of nachos, salsa, queso, taquitos, a thing of roast potatoes, and then half a rack of ribs.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, it was like their happy hour sampler pack.
Dang.
And I totally got goaded into trying a rib. They twisted my arm.
Was it good?
It was good. I mean, it was a decent happy hour rib.
Okay.
It was from a Mexican restaurant.
That wasn't exactly glowing.
Probably is not known for their ribs, but
That's probably true. Oh, excuse me.
there we go. That's what I had.
It made you want to have lamb for breakfast, Noodle? I couldn't imagine having lamb for breakfast. It's such a rich meat.
That was the sampler tray.
Looks good.
They ordered 2 of them.
They were 2 of those. Wow.
Yeah, and that's when we
That's
already
a lot
had,
of food.
like a ton of nachos and stuff on the table. I mean, there was a lot of people. There was like 14 folks at least.
All right, I'm gonna start getting stuff together for the lamb mixture. And for the lamb, we're gonna grate in some onion and some ginger first. I hate grating onion in particular because like onion makes me cry anyway, but grating it in particular always makes me cry. It's mostly because, you know, the thing that makes you cry with onions, like it's generated by the fact that the cell walls get ruptured, which if you have a sharp knife, that doesn't happen a ton. But when you grate it on a dull box grater like this, that's happening a lot. So it's just like a cloud of tear gas. I can already feel my eyes tingling.
Oh no.
Okay, that's about as much as I can take from this half of the onion. I think that's probably good, actually.
Let me know if you need me to get up in there. This stream brought to you by Tears. Alright, I'm gonna go take my shoes off. I will be right back.
As long as they're onion tears. Other tears are okay too, but I prefer not to be causing anyone to cry in that way. Let's see, how much onion does it say? One small onion, about half a cup. Yeah, I'd say that's about half a cup of onion. I figured that onion was too much if I did all of it. You learn that it's actually a very thick layer in between the bigger layers that has all the cry-inducing stuff. Ah. Sometimes Robin removes all by hand for the salads. Easy to see on red onions. Well, you know what? I have a red onion. I did need to prep eventually, so here's the yellow onion. I don't know how clear that is showing up on the video, because I'm curious what part of the onion you're talking about. Alright, and here's the red onion. So is it like the thicker heart of the onion down here? Or is it like the red part between the layers? He has been a good boy, which kind of surprises me. I thought maybe being here with just me and him, he would be a little bit misbehaving, but he's just laying down, being a good boy. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. It's funny how he doesn't do it back to back.
Okay, sorry about that. Just when we mentioned him, he looked up from chewing his phone. What's up?
Hello, I see your tail wagging. Yeah, let me give you some attention. You doing okay? He's had a bit of a upset tummy recently, so he's been fine, really. You know, in terms of like how active he's been.
Waking us up at 1 in the morning.
So he's on a rice diet right now, except for the occasional treats. Yeah, you need something a little less upsetting to your tummy. Yeah. thin, clear film. Okay, I think I know what you mean. Yeah. So it'd be kind of hard to see, maybe in the. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're not having that beer tonight, then. Buster. Yeah, that's why I said we're not having that tonight. Buster, stop licking the booze bottles. You can kind of see, I assume like the glistening parts are where the filmy bit of the onion is. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Also, I labeled his rice Buster Rice, because for some reason I was thinking Buster Rhymes, so I called it Buster Rice. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, my microphone's back on, by the way. I didn't want you to hear me going thump, 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 thump upstairs.
No worries. Okay, so this onion we're not going to use tonight, so I'll put this away. His tail wagging is cute, yeah.
Do you mind if we put that in a plastic container?
Oh, sure, we can do that. There's actually a ton of plastic containers here that I unloaded from the dishwasher.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, I think I've never heard this before personally, but Wikipedia said that English Cocker Spaniels are also called Merry Cockers because their tails are always, like most of the time, they're wagging.
Yeah.
And it always makes you smile.
I'll believe that one from Wikipedia.
Oh, your nice, decent sized bit of ginger. I'll get a spoon out to get the skin off. So yeah, I was thinking about Sunday's stream, Stuart.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since we've done a breakfast stream.
Oh.
I don't know if you would be up for that or not, because I reminded myself today as I was trying to come up with ideas. I've had a bit of a craving for pancakes recently.
Oh, we should do that then. You've had a documented pancake craving.
I don't know if it's documented, but I did mention it to you recently. We could also do it for dinner, like breakfast for dinner is a thing that is good, so we could also do our usual time, but...
We could also try doing something incredible.
What's that?
Pancake sandwiches.
Pancake sandwiches,
We
like
could try-
McGriddles?
Yes, we could try making
You were
syrup.
way too excited in that
maple
response.
syrup pucks. You freeze them, and then you put them inside a pancake batter, and the syrup melts as you cook the pancake.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
We'll have to look up how long it takes to freeze it.
I'm also kidding.
Are you, though?
It sounds messy.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you freeze them. It could potentially be messy. It has the potential. You really miss the days of laying in bed till noon. I do too. I used to do that a lot. And I don't know if I still could for that long these days. But I certainly am not able to do that now with Buster.
Yeah, I feel bad. I've been sneaking off to do bike rides at like dawn the last couple of weeks. And I assumed Buster would go back to bed because this is like an hour and a half before he normally gets up. But he's apparently been waking Andrew up like 10 minutes after I leave.
Yeah, well, once he knows one of his is up, he's like, okay, I want breakfast. If y'all are up, I'm up too.
So apparently I need to start giving him breakfast before doing crack of dawn bike rides.
It's not a big deal. I am happy that you are A, doing exercise, and B, doing cycling.
Oh man. So I mentioned I was like wedged between two executives, and that's always a dicey proposition because you're like, I don't want to sound completely unknowledgeable about any of the inner workings of our organization.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out both the people I was sitting next to were more cycling enthusiasts than I.
Oh,
So I was able to pick their brain about like good cycling spots, that sort of thing.
nice.
Once you have a hobby in common, you can talk for like an hour.
Yeah, especially if they're like, that's their hobby, like the thing they focus on a lot in their free time, because then you'll get people talking for a long time.
Yeah, my boss just bought a carbon fiber version of our bike.
Oh, wow.
We've got not like a department store bike, but we have a pretty entry.
It's an entry
like,
level.
aluminum frame bicycle.
Yeah.
And he had the same thing, but like all the bells and whistles.
Gotcha. Homemade McGriddles, yeah. If it seems like it's doable, maybe we'll give it a try. Because, you know, pancakes in themselves don't take that long. I was trying to come up with an idea of make them a bit more stream-worthy.
Well, see, that was my thinking, is I feel like we would put so much effort into doing the maple syrup medallion pancake that everything else we would just kind of have to phone in.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I wasn't thinking of anything like super complex. I was just like, well, you know, my birthday is coming up. We could do like a birthday pancake stack with like whipped cream and blueberries, because I love blueberries, and make it kind of look like a layer cake but with pancakes.
yeah.
Just kind of have fun decorating it, but also making it kind of indulgent.
Ooh. See, I was thinking, if we're doing it for dinner, we could definitely go like a slightly more savory route and have like bacon on the side and like home fries with like poblano and onion.
I mean, we could do that for brunch too.
Oh yeah, no, I just meant.
I mean, I know I was just talking about something that was definitely leaning on the sweet side, but you don't have to do that.
We wouldn't put that effort in if we made a McGriddle.
Right, yeah. Depending on how long it takes to freeze it, I mean, if it took a while and we really wanted to do it, we'd probably do it before stream, and then just pull out the syrup medallions.
Oh yeah, we'd have to do that.
And I mean, I feel like at that point it's just you mix them into the batter and you cook them. I don't think there's much to do once they're actually frozen.
I mean, it'd be an ingredient, but you'd have to make the egg and the bacon and the cheese and the pancake. Yeah, there's not a lot there, but
And that's basically what we'd be doing anyway, probably. Really not a morning person. Slightly harder for you to feel motivated to do anything in the morning. Typically start your day around 11 at the very least. Yeah, I definitely need coffee, and that coffee's got to kick in before I feel any kind of productive. So I know how you feel. Alright, grated onion, grated ginger. What else is going into our lamb mixture? Chili flakes, cumin, coriander, cinnamon. Ah, garlic. We need to do some garlic, yes.
of course, we could always do hash browns.
I mean, hash browns are good, yes. What did you have in mind?
Just the concept of that.
Just the concept. I do enjoy the concept of fried potatoes, yes.
Okay, most of these actually just seem to use a drizzle of maple syrup on top of batter without even freezing it.
Really? I wouldn't think that would... I feel like that would get mixed into the batter and not actually be, you know, pockets of syrup like it is with a McGriddle.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cheater approach, just to get the flavor of it, but not the experience.
is funny though. We've made waffles so many more times than pancakes because once you get a waffle maker, it's like, well, I gotta use it.
Yeah, you gotta justify it being taking up space in your kitchen. Yeah, we definitely were on a waffle kick for a while. And I think that's why I'm craving pancakes. It's like we've done tons of waffles, but when is it pancake time to shine? Plus, I haven't done any kind of like blueberry pie or blueberry dessert anything this year yet, and you'll know how much I love blueberries.
Oh yeah. Andrew, are your hands clean right now?
No, they're garlicky,
Oh, okay.
but I can wash them.
Our kitchen is really bright right now, and the footage looks kind of dark.
Yeah, it might be the way the ring light is.
Yeah, I was almost just gonna say try turning that off and see how the camera light balances.
Actually, did you just notice that?
Maybe.
Because it could be the
Bench scraper.
bench scraper blowing out the,
Oh yeah.
throwing off the white balance, the exposure. So let me get some garlic grated on that bench scraper and see if it looks any better. What kind of McGriddle would be down with? Spicy fried chicken patty?
Oh yeah, it was the bench scraper.
Okay.
Probably. It's better already, at least.
It's better, okay. I will take better.
See, we can't get spicy chicken McGriddles here, so maybe we need to take this opportunity to make it.
Maybe we do.
Although fried chicken is a whole other thing.
Is the fried chicken on the McGriddles like actually breaded and deep fried like American fried chicken, or is it fried in terms of like it's ground chicken cooked on a griddle kind of thing? I forget if you posted a picture or not.
I will find one. It looks like it's a ground chicken fried.
Yeah, so like a chicken burger kind of thing.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, see, I can't tell if that's like a breading on the outside.
Oh, there's breading.
There is breading, okay, so it might be deep fried then. Got it. So it's kind of a mix between American fried chicken and like a chicken burger.
It's using their same technology as their chicken tenders.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. The ones here are just a chicken patty.
Oh, interesting. No breading.
Yeah, so no breading. I feel like if we were going to do it, certainly if we were going to do it as a brunch stream, I'm not sure if I'm up for deep frying anything on a brunch stream, so I'd probably lean more towards making it like a chicken burger, basically.
Somebody found the US test market version of it, and it's literally just a chicken tender on that thing.
That's funny. But there was a hack, someone got the sausage McGriddle and a McSpicy chicken burger and took out the patty from the McSpicy to add it to the McGriddle.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, those fast food hacks are kind of popular. I think McDonald's even tried to like market hacking your McDonald's meals. Like they tried to promote a secret menu, but all it really was ordering multiple things and then rearranging the ingredients when you got them.
Yeah, the really popular one that kind of broke through the common consensus was ordering a Egg McMuffin, which is egg, ham, and cheese, and then ordering a double cheeseburger, and you can make the Mick 1235, which is the 5-minute period after they stop serving breakfast that you can start ordering lunch.
Yeah.
And
Or
this is what you get.
that was good, actually. That was really good. Of course, now they've started to serve breakfast all day in some locations, so it's just a brunch Egg McMuffin at this point. Okay. Now I got garlic all over my hands. Yeah, so a spicy chicken patty might be interesting. It might be interesting. I'll have to think about what we're gonna do. I feel like I would lean towards putting blueberries in my pancake buns instead of maple syrup, just to scratch that flavor itch. But that would definitely go with sausage, bacon, chicken patty, whatever. Blueberries play well with meat.
I feel like we've cooked so much bacon on stream that we'd have to do like sausage patties.
Yeah, something
just
different.
to mix things up. And blueberry goes well with both pancake and sausage. And Andrews and stews.
Did you want a gin and tonic tonight?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
You're happy and you know I got it. Went out to a happy hour tonight. I'm good.
Alright, so there's the garlic grated. What else do we need to prep before we get down to business? Herbs, yes, we're gonna do some mint. Maybe some parsley if the parsley we bought earlier is still good.
I think there might be 2 parsleys in there, so make sure you're looking at the fresh one.
Let's see. Cilantro. Okay, 2 parsleys. I'll take a look at these. And I already got the mint out of the fridge. Let's see, we're looking at a cup total. So let's see what we can harvest from our parsley.
While you try and harvest parsley, did you see that Cold Stone Creamery is doing Nintendo-themed ice creams?
Yes.
So I saw the text of that message, and I'm like, oh man, I really hope they do a pink Kirby ice cream so I can joke about eating Kirby fluff.
Uh-huh.
And they legit have a Mario Party, like, birthday cake ice cream, a Animal Crossing chocolate ice cream with camping bits in it.
Camping bits? What on earth are camping bits?
I don't know. No, it's called Island Getaway. It's got banana, strawberry, and marshmallow fluff inside a chocolate ice cream.
Oh, now see that doesn't sound right. It should have been like a s'mores flavor or something. Like that's what you do on camping trips, right? You make s'mores.
Yep. And then, sure enough, they've got the Kirby and the Forgotten Lands ice cream, which is strawberry ice cream, bits of strawberry, caramel, and marshmallow, it looks like. So you can see what Kirby tastes like.
Do you want to taste what Kirby tastes like, or do you want to taste what Tom Nook tastes like?
Or do you want to experience Mario's party?
Okay, this is getting dirty really quickly. Do we even have a Cold Stone near us? I don't think I've ever seen one in Austin.
Yeah, we're all about the local homegrown hipster ice cream.
We are. I mean, Amy's ice cream kind of has a iron fist on the ice cream market here.
There is one a couple blocks away from the UT campus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. College kids probably like Cold Stone Creamery.
And then there's one up in Round Rock, and there's a couple marble slab creameries in the remaining shopping malls in town. Everywhere else has been taken over by Amy's.
Alright, well I guess we could check them out. Hello, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm not even going to attempt to say your name. But thank you for following. How's it going?
Howdy, howdy.
I don't know if there's a name you would like me to use. Cats are getting wild? Oh no. So got a good amount of parsley there. We're gonna do some parsley. I like parsley because it's nice and fresh and vibrant. And I'm doing mint because mint goes really well with lamb.
It does.
Mint is almost like a default you gotta do with whenever you do lamb.
So is this going to be mixed
Carlos,
into your...
all right. Hello, Carlos. How's it going?
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome in.
Carlos loves food science and biochemistry.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do too. I don't always talk about the science and food chemistry behind the stuff I cook, but I do love that stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of Alton Brown and Kenji Lopez, if you've ever heard of him, and they both like turn to science to figure out the best way to coax flavor out of food and the best method.
Andrew's a big old nerd and really easy to get going.
Yes, I am a nerd. So, you know, eventually I will start talking about science. Trying to be a better home cook? Awesome!
Happy to have you.
Kenji, nice, nice. Yeah, Alton Brown. He's big in the U.S. I'm not sure where you're located, but he's big in the U.S. He had a show called Good Eats. And I feel like he really got the ball rolling in terms of using science to improve cooking. He did a lot of stuff of kind of like introductions to ingredients, how they behave, how they taste, etc., and then building on that knowledge to find the best recipe for cooking them.
Okay. Carlos is from Spain.
Spain, nice. Love Spain. I think the most recent place in Spain I went to was Barcelona. That was a while ago, though. I need to go back sometime. So yeah, I don't know if Alton Brown or Good Eats is well known in Spain, but if you like Kenji, you'll probably like Alton Brown. It is a TV show. In the US, he's on Food Network. I think Food Network, at least some of their shows are available overseas, but I'm not sure how much or how readily available they are. He does have some YouTube stuff. If you search YouTube for Alton Brown, you'll definitely see some stuff he's done and some clips of his show. I don't think his Good Eats is available entirely on YouTube, though. Adam Ragusea, I know of him.
I've watched some of his stuff.
Yeah, Stuart, my boyfriend who's sitting off camera, and you'll hear his voice. He knows more about Adam Ragusea than me, I feel like.
You need to get on with the goose.
Is that what he calls himself?
I don't think that's what he calls himself.
Okay.
I've heard him referred to as the goose.
Let me see. Chemistry professor likes cooking and does videos on YouTube. Yeah, I've heard of him. I need to watch more of his videos. I always keep hearing good things.
Yeah, it's interesting. I promise this will be a very short tangent.
Yeah, no worries.
There's a Star Trek podcast I listen to, and they somehow got permission to use the Picard song, which is that like techno music song that's been floating around since the late 2000s. That's just like clips of Jean-Luc Picard talking over like very basic.
Yes, I know what you're referring
electronic music.
Yeah.
And they used that song all throughout when this podcast was doing TNG.
Oh.
And when they started doing Deep Space Nine, one of their viewers named Adam Ragusea was like, I am passingly familiar with audio editing software.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make you a Captain Sisko version of the Picard song for when you're doing DS9.
Neat.
And by the time he had finished, or by the time the podcast had finished DS9, Adam Ragusea had a lively cooking podcast career. So
wow.
They went from being like, oh, and by the way, thank you to our loyal fan Adam for making this outro music that you're hearing now to, oh, and by the way, go check out Adam's wildly popular, like, million subscriber YouTube channel.
Well, there you go. Free advertising. Did he become successful, like, just separately from that, or did that help him get, like, name recognition?
I think it was just separate from that.
Oh.
He was already, like, an extremely online person. So.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, we're gonna make a harissa yogurt to go with our kofta.
Okay, so Jay Fry has listened to The Greatest Generation, which is a good name for a Star Trek TNG rewatch podcast, but also has a lot of time with hashtags on Twitter. Yeah, Jay Fry, the Adam Ragusea who did their music, is the same one who did the cooking videos online. So what is our favorite type of cuisine, Andrew? Always such a tough question.
Ooh, that is tough. I like Jay Fry's answer. Thai is really good.
I feel like we are Americans, so we are often exposed to a lot of like fusion cooking, where it won't be authentic to a particular Asian country, but it'll be like Asian influenced. So we do a lot of different stir fries and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're trying to find like a quick weeknight meal, we will often stir fry some chicken and vegetables and then put that on top of rice. But we like Indian cooking. We do a fair amount of Mexican or Tex-Mex cooking because we're in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew is originally from the UK, so he's introduced me to fish and chips, shepherd's pie, and a few other of the great
British
UK
food has a
dishes.
place in my heart. I don't know if I would call it my favorite cuisine, though. Oh, so this is the homemade harissa we made recently. We made it for the shakshuka we did a little while ago, and there's tons left over, so it was one of the reasons I wanted to do the recipe tonight was... Sorry, did I turn it up too much?
It was good when I was coming home, but I think the song is on the louder end.
Oh, yeah. That is part of the
songs
problem,
that we
is some
have.
of the songs are louder than others, yeah.
Also, howdy howdy, I'm the mysterious disembodied voice.
Thank you for the feedback, though. Do appreciate that.
It's also probably just me not talking into my microphone well enough.
Yeah, Stuart wears his microphone in a spot that makes him sound quieter.
It's all loosey-goosey.
4 tablespoons of harissa. Alright, so we'll use some of this for our yogurt here. Out the way, Buster, I don't want to step on you.
For those of you counting along at home, Andrew has a freakish 2 tablespoon measure,
I do.
so he only needs 2 scoops of this.
2 scoops of harissa, not raisins, harissa. So I don't know. I like Southeast Asian cooking in general. Thai food, like I said, is definitely up there, like Jay Fry. I just feel like a lot of the cuisines in that region balance salty, sweet, tart, savory so well in their foods. It's always an amazing experience.
I also feel like Asian cooking has a lot of useful and easy to learn kind of base sauces or like cooking techniques. So if you're used to like a lot of American cooking, it will be very specifically like, make this pasta dish, do potatoes this way, like here's a casserole thing that you have to construct in a certain way.
Yeah.
And with a lot of Asian cookings, like you can just kind of wing it and be like, a little bit of fish sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, some spicy chili crisp, suddenly dinner.
I mean, that's a good like template, but I think, you know, if you're really digging into that kind of cuisine, you take those base ingredients and you balance them. So you get a little bit of everything, but nothing overpowers anything else. It's something I feel like I haven't mastered.
Huh.
But I love continuing to cook that meal from that region because I always feel like I discover a new flavor, a new texture, a new combination that's excellent.
Okay, I have relocated my mic because I've gotten 2 mic complaints now.
Okay.
Sorry, I swear it's plugged in and turned on.
Yeah, so Thai is a lot like that. Yeah, for sure. I feel like Vietnamese is as well. But yeah. Oh, hey, Hoju, how are you? Fine day for some live baseball. There are a few thousand Jays fans in Seattle. Oh, you're in Seattle. Nice.
Nice.
You're not drinking an IPA. African Amber Ale. Interesting. I've never heard of an African Amber Ale before. How is it? So, Carlos, your favorite cuisine would be Mediterranean and Chinese. Yeah, those are both excellent. Yeah.
We've done a decent amount of...
Any particular Chinese, by the way, Carlos? I know there's different regions of China that kind of specialize in different dishes. Sorry, I cut you off, Stuart.
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just going to say, we have done some traditional Spanish cooking on the stream before.
Yes.
I know we're in Texas and have a lot of Mexican influence, but we definitely always try and call a distinction between Spanish chorizo and Mexican chorizo at
Yeah.
the bare minimum.
Yeah. I'll use a little bit of this garlic. We'll do the rest for the lamb. Okay. Sichuan, Hunan, Chongqing, and Xinjiang. I hope I did some of those justice. Take a wild guess why. Well, I know Sichuan can be pretty spicy. I'm not sure if I'm as familiar with the cuisines in the other regions. Only Jays fans from out of town line up before stadium opens to watch and cheer batting practice. Your favorite region of Chinese cuisine is New York City. Yeah. Oh, egg rolls are amazing. I'm with you, Jay Fry. Panda Express. Oh my gosh.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah, you were thinking about getting orange chicken from Panda. Stuart's been on an orange chicken kick. I feel like if we don't do that Sunday, we're gonna have to do it soon or he's gonna explode.
No, it was just, we had a bunch of streams recently where Andrew was like, I don't know what to cook or if I want to cook. It was when you were dealing with Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know if I want to stream today. And
Yeah.
I was like, I could stream. I could do those things. Because I'm the hero that we don't deserve, but the one we need right now.
So are you Batman?
I'm Batman. I was trying to offer up my Batman services and saying like I could do an orange chicken stream, but you realized you had Poison Ivy that weekend, and so it was much more easy to just be chill and relax.
Yes.
And we did have something planned that weekend, and it turned out to be a 3.5-hour dish with the cameras not rolling.
Yeah, it was pretty complicated, so it's probably good we didn't, or Stuart didn't attempt streaming it. Just because, you know, Stuart's not as experienced in the kitchen, but also it took a long time. And there are recipes we didn't do before, so...
So,
Okay.
This is the first time that the Jays have had a series in Seattle since the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
It's always an incredible experience. It's like Toronto West. Yeah, there have been a few baseball teams that haven't done home games because their home territory is more COVID cautious than the other teams they're playing against.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We are definitely open to suggestions of dishes to cook on stream.
Always, yeah.
You can suggest interesting things for us to try. Not to plug our Discord, but
No, plug the Discord, please do.
we also have a exclamation point Discord,
Yes, that should work.
which there's a dedicated suggestion box channel in there that is just like, Andrew and Stu, cook these things.
Yes.
The format of our show usually is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll cook from a meal box. So there's companies like Blue Apron and Marley Spoon and HelloFresh that send you all of the ingredients to cook a specific dish.
Yep.
And we like that because A, we don't have to do meal planning.
Yeah,
And we don't
which
have
is
to
the
go
big
to a
reason,
grocery
honestly.
store. But they're also usually like slightly simplified versions of a meal concept, and so often we can go to the grocery store and buy 1 or 2 extra ingredients that they might have left out, or do a above and beyond technique like grilling instead of baking.
Yep.
To make the weeknight stream a little bit more interesting. And then on the weekend, we'll do a large project meal where we'll find a dish that takes about 2-ish, maybe 3 hours to cook.
Usually 3 hours.
Streaming usually extends things. So it would be in a recipe book something that takes about 90 minutes that we extend to 3.5 hours.
This week's a little bit different, though, because it was a holiday here in the US, and that kind of delayed meal boxes in a way that didn't make sense for our streams. So this week we're just doing all Sunday-style meals during the week.
Yeah, we're trying to scale them down the best we can, especially since I keep abandoning Andrew for the majority of streams.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's been a busy work week. We did a grilled Caesar salad on Tuesday that was really good.
It was
very
good.
tasty. But I can't let this message go by. Hoju wants my best. Where's Buster? Where's the Buster? Batman impression.
That was scary. I don't know if that was Batman.
I do not know if that was good, but he has also redeemed a treat for the little man who is snoozing on our sofa and will not realize that he's been redeemed until I get up, probably.
He's always watching and listening. As soon as you get up, and especially when you grab the treat bag, he will spring to attention.
So Jay Fry has a Thai place near him that makes a orange chicken dish with ground chicken with orange zest mixed into the meat. That's supposed to be very good.
That does sound good.
And then Hoju redeemed Give Buster a treat. Got to get it in before the game starts.
Well, then you better get started giving him a treat.
Okay, I didn't want to switch away from your very nice onion chopping.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just chopping. I'm gonna put some water in with this onion just to kind of take the edge off the onion.
There you are.
And we'll garnish the final dish with it.
Shake. Shake. Oh, good boy. Nice to meet you. Touch. 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 Good boy.
Yes, this is our English Cocker Spaniel Buster. He's going to be 3 years old on the 18th of this month.
Give me. Leave it. Look at me. This is the ultimate dog willpower. Look at me. Good boy. Right, spin. Good boy.
So the thin layer is on the bottom of the non-purple side of the slices.
Huh.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. Yeah.
Leave it.
You said Robin actually takes it off when he does it? That must be very labor intensive, gosh.
Yeah, so Carlos was saying that we should try Spanish oxtail stew sometime.
Oh, I love oxtail. Yeah, I would definitely be on board with that. We wouldn't do it right now because I feel like any kind of stew... It's really hot here in Texas this year. Like, it's been constantly upper 30s, low 40s Celsius, like, for a couple months now, which is kind of unusual for Texas. So it's not really weather for stews. But when it cools down a little bit, I would be on board with that. I love oxtail. And it's been a while since I've had it, I feel like.
It's not weather for me. Stews.
It's not weather for Stuart, no.
Oh, it's only 95 right now. I take it back. Only.
And that is Fahrenheit, by the way. I thought you said it was 95. You just put 104 in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't realize the weather had gone down that much.
I mean, the sun's setting now, so
That's true.
it usually dips below triple digits once the sun goes down.
Yeah, the high was only 100 today, though.
Only.
God, it's gonna get up to 106 on Sunday.
Fun. Yeah, this is gonna be brutal this weekend.
It's gonna rain in 6 days, though?
Supposedly there's a cold front coming through late next week.
Just in time for your birthday.
Yeah, drop down into the 90s Fahrenheit.
Do you have vinegar in there?
No, this is water. I'm
Okay.
actually just gonna... I'm not gonna pickle them, I'm just gonna kind of take the sharp edge off the onion flavor.
If that bowl's too small, you can always use a plastic container.
I think it's just big enough. Okay, so I think we're ready now to start getting the lamb mixed in with all the other seasonings. He does it for his wife's salads when he wants to treat her. That's awesome. I don't think I have the patience for that, though. I believe hot food warms the inside of the body and makes the difference with the outside temperature less drastic, and feeling the hot is lower. That's a good point. I always hear that for spicy foods. Like, I feel like when I read about Indian curry recipes, spicy curries in particular are great when it's super hot because it makes you sweat and the sweat cools you off. But I don't know. I always feel like, I think for me it's a nostalgia kind of like sense memory of I have these hearty stews when it's cold outside and you want to stay nice and warm and you want to cuddle up with a blanket on the sofa, you know, that kind of sensation. So while you are entirely correct, I think for me it's more just like it's associative, you know. Yeah, your English is awesome. Yeah, made total sense.
Yeah, I cannot get Andrew to make a soup before, like, November.
Yeah, yeah.
You were always like, it's too warm.
I'm a little infamous for that. I don't think Stuart likes when I'm that picky about it.
It's usually fine. I think last year we had a lot going on and we accidentally missed all of Oktoberfest. Because it was not ready for hearty potato salads. Hello, Lester.
You don't like spicy curries when it's hot out. You do like the spicy soups. Interesting. So why is that? All right, we're gonna do a tablespoon of red chili flakes. That'll add a nice spice to our lamb. We're doing like 2 pounds of lamb, so if these quantities seem like a lot,
Gosh.
that's because there's gonna be a lot of lamb to mix in with it. Then your suggestion for the time being will be Spanish cold tomato soup. Ah, gazpacho, yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, we actually made paella recently.
So he can be coaxed into more
Well, that's not
hearty dishes.
that's not a stew though.
That's true.
I like paella because, I mean, I guess the rice is the heartiest part, but it's a lot of seafood, and I like seafood in the summer because it's a little bit of a lighter protein. But yeah, that was excellent, and I love gazpacho. I don't have gazpacho nearly enough. I need to maybe I'm growing some tomato plants this year in the garden, so if I get a good amount more of those, maybe we'll try making some gazpacho with those tomatoes. All right, so I got the chili flakes. We need some cumin, coriander, and cinnamon, and we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of cumin, teaspoon of coriander. Okay, let's see. Using all the measuring spoons today. I think I have a 2 teaspoon measure. Yep, there it is. Let's see if this fits in the jar. Yes, perfect. All right, 2 teaspoons of cumin. I think it was a teaspoon of coriander. It's because the curry spice just lingers too much. Okay, I can see that, yeah. Tried rabbit paella? I have not. That's the most famous one? Oh man. Rabbit is hard to get in the US, but I would love to try that sometime. That sounds delightful. This was I was using a Barcelona cookbook for the paella, so I think the seafood version is more popular there, since they're on the coast. But also I like seafood in the summer, like I said. And then some cinnamon. How much cinnamon did we need? Just a quarter teaspoon. All right. Kind of eyeballing it here, but that's okay. You get noodle soups on hot days? Yeah, interesting. I know Stuart's always trying to get me to have ramen on hot days, and I usually talk him down from that for the same reason as stews.
Ramens are also very hearty, so
Yeah,
it's like, hey,
It
do you
is.
want to gain a pound right now? Like,
it is a lot of food, yeah.
but I feel like I can usually deal with some amount of like hearty food if it's in a nice air-conditioned environment.
Yeah. Air conditioning is very prevalent in Texas because it gets so hot here, and that does help, yes. Do a little bit more harissa for the lamb mixture. I feel like you know a lot about Spain and Spanish food. You know, I don't too much. I feel like I know a bit about Barcelona just because I visited there. So I kind of experienced that city. But there's a lot I don't know. I would love to go back, see more of the country, other regions, and like the rabbit paella. I had no idea that was a common version of paella in other regions. So, you know, that kind of thing I'd love to experience more. I love Spanish food.
I feel like we know enough to know that we don't know a lot about Spanish food. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah, that's a good-
sometimes you are so oblivious to a topic where like you know one or two things and you're like, I got this down.
Yeah.
And,
And honestly, I feel like that about most countries. I feel like I know the broad strokes of a lot of countries, but none I feel like I have a really in-depth knowledge of, because every country has pockets of unique cuisine that doesn't always make it out of the country, because I feel like, you know, outside of a country, I think just for sake of simplicity, things get simplified in the food that people talk about. So there's certain stereotypes in food that you think of from other countries, but the truth is a lot more deep and complex, and that takes a while to learn. All right, so we got the chili flakes, the cumin, the coriander, the cinnamon, ginger, onion, garlic, harissa, and herbs. Okay, so now we're gonna get the meat in there and mix all that in with some salt. Beef kofta takeout pick in Discord. Thank you, Jay Fry.
oh,
You mean you know a lot compared to a lot of people that think Spain is in South America? I suppose I do at least know it's not in South America, yes.
well, we've got our work cut out for us, Andrew.
Oh? Are these gonna put me to shame? That looks pretty tasty. Oh my goodness, that looks really good. Wow. Is that like a whole charbroiled tomato there?
I think so.
That's amazing.
It's like a whole Roma tomato.
You got some good takeout places by you, Jay Fry. Wow.
Some shishito peppers, something that turned rice yellow, diced up tomato, cucumber, feta, garden greens, red onion, naan, or pita.
Churros are Spanish and Portuguese. You know, I actually only learned that recently, I'm ashamed to say. I thought that they were a traditionally Mexican dish, and I saw recently that actually, no, they're a thing in Spain. So technically I did know that, but only recently. Are they similar to Mexican churros? Or is the Mexican version of churros slightly different? You are spoiled. That looks amazing. I can see why you don't cook too much if you can get takeout like that. Oh, those were Serrano peppers. I did see the peppers. I couldn't tell if they were Serranos or Shishitos, but yeah, it looks great. You've never tried Mexican churros, but you'd say they're the same. Yeah, so Mexican churros are, they're like a donut batter, I think. Kind of like a shoe. I've never made them before.
You usually have to put them through a pastry bag into
Yeah,
frying oil.
you squeeze them into the oil. I'm trying to remember what kind of batter it is. It's a donut batter, I think, and you use a star tip pastry bag to squeeze them into the oil.
And then you toss them in powdered sugar, and there's often a Mexican chocolate
like
sauce.
a cinnamon powdered sugar. And then, yeah, the Mexican version typically has a spiced chocolate sauce. So it is pretty straightforward. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were very, very similar. The spice on this is super comfort food. Oddly reminds you of Swedish sausage spices with a lot more kick. Swedish sausage spices. I don't know if I've had Swedish sausage. I could see why you would say that though, because in my head, I think of that as being the kind of spices I was just using. The coriander and the cinnamon and the ginger. Oh, your ancestors were Swedish. I feel like you may have mentioned that, J. Fry, but I don't think I had internalized that. Funny enough, China has something very, very, very similar to churros called yoqiu, which is surprising how food is so similar even in remote parts of the world. Yeah, oh, for sure. Like every part of the world has some kind of pasta. As one example. The coriander, yeah. Half Swedish, half Norwegian. Oh, that's cool. I don't think I really fully knew that. Yeah, I feel like Scandinavian countries also use a lot of like, not fennel, although fennel is used. Caraway. Caraway is used a lot, I feel like, as well. And it kind of falls in the same vein as the coriander and cinnamon. Oh, sour herring. It's like it's been a while since I've had herring.
Which is interesting because we just had anchovies.
We did have anchovy, but herrings are different from anchovies.
Oh, okay.
You lost the Serrano roulette. What is losing in this case? Is it too spicy or not spicy enough? Serranos can be pretty spicy. They can range anywhere from jalapeno heat to like double or sometimes even triple jalapeno heat. Habanero spicy. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's unusual for a Serrano. Wow. All right, so we're gonna do about 12 kofta. I have no idea.
So we have leftovers today.
Yeah, we're having leftovers, yes. This is a recipe that's meant to serve 4, actually, which surprised me for 12. Apparently, I guess it's 3 kebabs, 3 kofta per serving.
I'm glad you could do that, Matt.
I did it before the stream, before I drank beer.
Good job.
So I have no idea how this is going to split, so I'm just going to kind of randomly pull these into bowls and then we'll redistribute as necessary. Choux pastry dough. I was wondering whether it was choux pastry and then I doubted myself. Thank you, Noodle. You might try the other one if you're feeling bold. We'll all have to take bets. Will J. Fry's other Serrano be habanero spicy? Could probably do a Twitch poll if we really wanted to for that. Do you know how to do a Twitch poll, Stuart? Because my hands are kind of covered in meat right now.
I can be your keyboard. Verbally explain it. Exclamation point. Poll. P-O-O-L-L. Space. Meats,
1, 2, 3,
spices,
4, 5,
peppers.
6, 7,
What are we
8, 9,
talking
10,
about?
11.
No, I'm kidding.
I think if you're on the administrator or the moderator dashboard, actually I think JFry could even do it if we wanted to. I think it's on the administrator dashboard to create a poll. Yeah, you don't have to do it right now. I just thought it would be fun to see what people would bet, and we can update in the Discord later with what actually, how hot it was when you have the courage to try it.
I don't know, I clicked mod view and I'm in like some strange sort of fighter jet cockpit. There's chats, there's tools, there's
a lot.
Actions.
Yeah, by default they really fill that dashboard with a lot of stuff.
I've never seen any of these before. I'm so sorry.
Some mod you are.
No.
Gosh, good thing we have JFry now. Sorry, that was mean.
No.
You just do them through chat? So I guess if you do /poll, maybe it'll come up with an interface to...
Oh, yeah, open up a setup menu to make a poll. So what's the question?
Will J. Fry's second Serrano be habanero spicy? Considering that Serranos typically are not habanero spicy, this question is really how unlucky is J. Fry tonight? Or whenever he decides to have the second Serrano. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 roughly equal. They're not exactly equal, but that's okay.
Okay, I've got this poll thing going.
Are you gonna try it at all, JFry? Sorry, I guess I figured you would have it eventually, just not right away. When summer ends, you'll move to a student's shared house, and it will be your first time cooking your own food and buying your own ingredients. Any tips or recommendations?
I feel like a good motivation to learn how to cook is figure out what you are constantly eating in your life. Like, what is the take up thing you are getting, and use that as a motivation of I would often get Panda Express takeout, and that would have orange chicken and fried rice. So eventually I was just okay, I'm gonna figure out how to just do the fried rice component, and
yeah,
you can use that as motivation to find different techniques and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would start simple. Don't necessarily feel like you have to jump into making a big shepherd's pie or something similar.
Yeah, definitely I would say start simple. Like Stuart said, think of a dish that you really enjoy and take a component of it if it seems kind of overwhelming at first. And if you're living with someone, ask them too, what are the things you like to eat, and use that as a starting point. And I usually find it helps if you shop first. We get meal boxes, but the equivalent to that would be shopping for several recipes at the same time. That way you can jump right into making a recipe when it's time to do it. Sometimes if you don't have the ingredients on hand, the thought of going to the shops, getting the ingredients, coming home, unloading them, pulling up the recipe, preparing it, cooking it, it's a lot, and you end up just getting takeout instead. So making sure you plan and buy the ingredients ahead of time, and then you can just make them when you feel like you're ready for it. I'm sure folks in chat also would have some tips too for, starting out cooking, but that's my probably biggest suggestion right off the bat.
I'm gonna make this a split poll.
Split poll?
We are 50-50.
Yeah.
Will J Fry's second pepper be the most spicy? And the options are J Fry K will be A-OK, or J Fry will burn. I don't know why that second option didn't have the K. I feel like another thing is, I know I definitely did this when I was learning how to cook. A lot of cooking videos online will tell you to buy a particular cooking tool to make a dish. Like, oh, you need this pan, or oh, you need this potato peeler or something. And when you buy a new thing, I would try to figure out a couple different things you could use it for. So I totally graduated college with a bunch of potato peelers or lime presses that I knew one dish that needed them. I don't know, maybe that's a bad example. Most of that stuff's pretty cheap. Maybe that's a better piece of advice, is don't feel like you have to buy the most expensive frying pan or
yes.
lime press. Or
it helps to have,
toaster.
a good supply of pans and such in the kitchen, but don't get the priciest stuff. Just get whatever you can afford and looks good.
There
and if you
are a few kitchen ingredients that there's a $10 version and a $35 version.
Yeah.
And the $35 version is totally worth it.
But wait until you feel like you need it.
Exactly. I think I'm trying to think of a good example. Usually the microplane, the grater thing.
Yeah.
Those are usually worth sinking a little bit of money into, but
yeah.
it's worth figuring out what are you actually going to use.
Yeah.
It turns out we have gotten by with a $10 potato peeler for about the last 6 years because we don't peel that many potatoes.
Yeah. Your biggest fear is buying ingredients that only work for a few and end up getting them expired. I mean, that happens, especially with vegetables. I always end up throwing out some vegetables, unfortunately. But, if you're planning ahead, you can start with a recipe that you like the sound of, and then try to find other recipes that use similar ingredients. You're not going to be perfect at finding the overlap, but at least then you get the satisfaction of using an ingredient more than once at least, and using most of it, if not all of it.
That's also where having a background of cooking skills can start to come in to experience later, so you don't have to figure this all out at once. But I feel like cabbage is one of those things where
you get a ton and it's hard to know how to use all of it.
You get 4 or 5 meals of cabbage worth out of one $2 cabbage head.
Yeah.
And we'll make a Austrian pickled cabbage dish for Oktoberfest, and then we'll suddenly realize that we have almost 2 pounds of cabbage left over, and then that's when we're just oh, it turns out hearty greens are good in stir fries, and then you can just try and use it up in other ways.
Yeah, cabbage stir fries really well, quick and hot.
But before then, you can try and plan out 3 meals you want to get to in a week.
Yeah.
And not trying to plan out literally all 7 days can also be useful, because then you can get lazy after work or after school and get fast food. And if you've only planned 2 days or 3 days a week to cook, you give yourself that buffer space to have a bad day.
Yeah. Typically, a lot of recipes also make like 4+ servings, so you'll probably have leftovers too, which will fill in some of the gaps. And also, you know, if you're starting simple, you probably won't have a ton of ingredients that you'll need to be used up. You know, starter recipes typically are small ingredient lists, so that'll help too.
I got completely through school like having chicken breast, baked potato, and broccoli.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, stainless steel pan is good. You might need to use a little bit more oil than usual just to make sure things don't stick too much. And don't feel like you have to use super high heat if you're using a stainless steel pan, because that'll also coax things to stick to the pan. Use medium heat for most things.
For what it's worth, a lot of people will poo-poo like non-stick pans, saying like, "Oh, real fancy chefs don't need non-stick." Like, we love non-stick pans and use them.
They're easy
like,
to clean up.
almost every night, we will use a pan besides our non-stick pan, maybe once a week. So I feel like that's the one thing that like cooking YouTube has made everybody feel like you've got to use some cast iron or some stainless steel or something.
Can you go ahead and turn the grill on for me, please?
Of course. The thing with non-stick is they only are good for about 3 years, so you have to remember at some point you need to look down at your pan and be like, oh, the non-stick's worn off on this, like I need to invest in a new one.
Yeah, some last longer than others, but yeah, they don't last forever, that's for sure. We avoided the seeds on the second one, and it was still spicier. Oh no! Alright, well there's the answer to that one. J-Fry will burn.
Alright.
Oh yeah, freezer. That's a good point, Noodle. A lot of stuff does freeze well, so if you're not able to use it up right away, stick it in the freezer. Make a note that it's in the freezer so you don't forget about it. That's a mistake I've made before. And then when a recipe comes up that you need it again, you can pull it out of the freezer.
And it's interesting because we've been streaming for almost 3 years now.
At least.
Been quite a quarantimes. We still learn so much stuff in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, you're always learning.
Only figured out how to use our freezer as a useful place to put food in the last year.
I knew it was good before that. My problem though was I always forgot to use the stuff I put in the freezer, so I guess you could say it was like I wasn't using a freezer.
We have only just now gotten rid of all the stuff in our freezer that we weren't smart enough to put a year on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Remove the skin before freezing.
Oh, for ginger? Keep it on.
Yeah, for ginger, yeah. Although you can actually, I've heard of being able to grate ginger and then like store it in ice cube trays, so then you can just pull out like an ice cube sized amount of grated ginger. That's pretty clever. I haven't tried doing that before, but that's a nice idea. That way you avoid having to do the prep every time you use ginger. Just do it up front and then it's ready to go.
J-Fry says this is so many kebabs.
It is a lot. It's 12 kebabs, 3 each.
You're making a Jenga tower of meat.
I know. I'm hoping we're not going to run into a pita situation where these all stick together, but we'll see.
Oh no.
I don't know if the lamb will be less heavy than the beef. Lamb can be pretty rich. Typically is pretty fatty. But we'll see. Yeah, you prep everything up front. That's smart. I wish I did that more.
Oh yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing when you're first starting out is everybody tells you like prep all the stuff beforehand and read the recipe beforehand.
Oh yeah, I guess there's two versions of prepping up front. There's you come home from the supermarket and you prep the stuff right then and there. If you can do that, if it's a vegetable that can stand being cut and kept in the refrigerator in that state. But there's also prepping at the start of your recipe, like I did today. Everything that needs to be cut up, mixed into a mixture, mixed into a salad. You do all that up front, and then you just put all the stuff together, because that makes it much easier. You're not combining stuff and then, oh, I need to cut this up, oh, and then I'm gonna mix it into here, and then I gotta cut this up. Going back and forth like that wastes time.
It makes a lot of sense when you're doing something like a curry.
A curry or a stir fry, where you're constantly putting stuff in a pan and you need to have
garlic
it ready to go.
Then 30 seconds later, you need to put onion in, and then 3 minutes later, you need to put chicken in. It's like dice up your chicken, chop your onion, and chop your garlic.
Do all the cutting and as much as you can at the start, so it's all ready to go.
But I would mostly just say find what excites you about cooking or what you like to cook, and like ride that wave of enthusiasm as long as possible. Because there are some people who just like aren't big fans of cooking and don't really enjoy it. And so if there's something that excites you or entertains you right now, like chase that as long as possible. Like, I am not joking. In college, I didn't cook that much, but I figured out how to cook American Chinese food because I realized I need to stop eating out at the Corner Panda Express so much.
Yeah. And typically things you make at home will be healthier than what you get a takeout. Well, not always true, but typically. If only because sometimes portions are larger when you get takeaway.
Yeah, trying to figure out if something freezes well or reheats well in the microwave, a lot of that just comes down to Googling or searching for the specific dish.
Yeah, or just trying it and seeing what happens. I always feel like things that are liquidy, like soups and stuff, reheats best in the microwave. Or things that can be steamed, like pasta and rice, reheats well in the microwave. Meat does not. Anything really cheesy does not.
And fried stuff is usually tricky.
Fried stuff gets soggy in the microwave, yeah.
As far as freezing goes, you can usually freeze like anything you can get pretty airtight, you'll have a decent time with. Mm-hmm. There's guides online that if you just have like a chicken breast left over or something, usually you have like a good 3 months on meat and a good 6 months on everything else.
Yeah.
But there's stuff online that you can usually figure out.
Yeah, in terms of like storing leftover ingredients that you didn't put in a recipe, a lot of stuff freezes pretty well as long as you, like Stuart said, get as airtight as possible. Prepared meals that you're freezing, then it comes down to things like pastas, rice dishes, soups. Yeah, anything that you don't want crispy will be fine in the microwave, or melty. Things don't melt particularly well in the microwave, but yeah.
We've got pulled pork, tamales, miscellaneous bones.
I'm just going to check on the grill and see if it's hot for our kofta yet.
Some Thai pesto from a salad, baked beans, ice cream, cornbread muffins, tomato paste, and frozen corn and peas and ginger in our fridge right now.
Wow.
Or sorry, freezer.
We got a lot. More than I thought.
Um,
yeah, I think we're ready for the grill, so I'm going to start preparing the camera and we'll head out there. I'll let you all know when we do it, because I know it can be a little tricky if you have
disorienting for people with the first person cooking.
If you have motion sickness, because this camera is strapped to my head, so it moves around a little bit. Okay, let's see.
Oh, do you need me to start toasting naan?
Oh, actually, I was going to throw the naan on the grill.
Sounds good.
So if you want to get it out, I'm not going to put it on right away because the lamb's going to take longer, but...
Where is the naan?
I think it's on the wine shelf, but I might have put it at the back because we didn't need it right away.
There it is. Are you going to have one whole one tonight or a split one?
I was thinking of splitting.
Yes, please. I had a rib tonight, remember?
Right, yeah, okay. Those peppers and food coma knocked you out. You're just doing a 1,000-yard stare at your screen. It seemed like a lot of food, and those peppers, yeah. So originally in the UK, as from what's called the Cotswold region, it's kind of central west. Yeah, but I lived there when I was a kid, so as you can tell, most of my accent is gone.
You hopped back and forth between the US and the UK a few times.
Yeah.
I think you were in the Liverpool region for a while.
I was born around Liverpool, but we didn't stay there very long.
I recently discovered the name of the actual town that Andrew was from, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on stream.
No, don't.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's looking like it's working, so we'll go ahead and head outside. I'll keep the camera in here, and I'll switch it once I get out there.
I don't know where my glasses got to. You have mysterious Bizarro stew tonight.
Curious how many of these will fit
Wait, here they are.
at one time.
That was a good question.
All right, you can probably switch it for me, Stuart.
Okay.
I just realized I don't have... Let me get chat open first, actually. Welcome to the outside. Are you gonna unlock iPad? There we go. Alright, chat is a go. Let's see how well these get onto the grill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Answer is 8. I can maybe do some on this side, even though they're not going to get grill marks. I'm going to try and cook these all at once if I can. Alright. Now my hands are covered in lamb. Stuart, if you can hear me, can you switch the camera back to the inside camera and open the patio door for me? I planned this really poorly. I don't think you can hear me. Alright.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I need to drop this inside and wash off my hands so I don't cover
Buster.
the grill in raw lamb.
It's funny, I would tell you to wear an ear pod outside so
Yeah.
that, like, you could hear me responding to you,
Yeah.
but we would also
You're
both
hearing
hear
ourselves.
each other,
Yeah.
but like 6 seconds in the past.
Yeah, that was always very trippy.
This is the most distracting thing that is currently happening to me.
You've been told some ingredients lose organoleptic properties when frozen? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure if I could take a guess, but I'm not sure entirely what you mean. Alright, I'm gonna head back out there. I was just double checking the timings on the recipe. We'll see how these are doing.
Alright, switching the camera over in 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Oh, looking good, looking good. Alright, Stuart, next thing I need is the grill gloves. Or at least one grill glove. Yeah, the cell wall's breaking down. That was gonna be my guess, yeah. Frozen mushrooms are worse than fresh ones, yeah. Anything with a lot of water in them probably does not work well in the freezer. Thank you. Because like Jay Fry said, the cell walls break down. It becomes very mushy. Sometimes that works to your favor, like if you're making like a strawberry jam or a sauce. You want it that state anyway, so that kind of works for you. This is lamb, getting some nice flare up here. Alright, we'll let that do its thing for a bit. Most frozen vegetables are flash frozen, so it affects them less. Yeah, if you do it at home, more susceptible to not freezing as well, for sure. No, you're not cooking it wrong. I mean, you can sometimes cook the vegetables for longer to cook off the moisture, but then you got overcooked vegetables. So you kind of need to, for vegetables in particular, you're right. You kind of need to keep in mind, if you're doing it yourself, what you're going to use it for. If you want the vegetables to stay crisp and firm,
Two things.
thank you. You'll either want to buy them pre-frozen at the store, since like Jay Fry said, they flash freeze them, which has less of an effect. Or if you freeze them yourself, use them in a recipe that you want them to be mushy. They're gonna break down anyway. Woo! The left side of the grill is much better than the right side of the grill, so I'm just taking some of these, switching these over a little bit. Other than the ones that are on the cooler side of the grill get some time on the hot side of the grill. And use these grill line boys over to the cool side of the grill. These are looking awesome. Hey, food poll. Drink. Oh, what drink is best on a cold day? We had what drink is best on a hot day recently. Ooh. Hot chocolate, tea or coffee, hot cider, mulled wine, or other. That's tough. I'm gonna go with cider. Hot cider? What is that? You never had hot cider before? Yes. Soups definitely. Vegetables and mushrooms would be fine. Yeah, hot cider. I love it. I mean, it's typically alcoholic fermented apple juice, then warmed up and spices added to it. Sometimes you sneak in a little bit of brandy or whiskey in there as well. Wow. Calm your jets, lamb. Alright. Stuart, if you're listening, I think we're gonna need that naan in a minute. Cider is always cold, yeah. Well, on a cold day, hot cider is actually really good. Favorite ice skating as a kid, but that was not hard cider, yeah. I mean, no judgment. If it was weakly spiked, thank you. Okay, I think we can start pulling off some of this lamb. What'll be great about this is I'll put the naan bread down and it'll kind of cook in the lamb fat. Super not healthy, but I bet it'll be delicious. Give these a little bit more time over here on the griddle side of the grill. Alright, we'll turn this down. We don't need a super hot grill for naan bread. Can never be pulled away from your ice water. Yeah, hot cider typically is not fizzy. It is flat. Which I do like fizzy cider, cold cider, but the hot cider makes up for it in that since you're mixing it with spices and maybe some other alcoholic liquor like brandy or whiskey, it makes up for it in some really nice warming flavors. Mulled wine and hot cider are looking way too appetizing. Yeah, mulled wine and hot cider in this case are very similar, I think, yeah. Yeah, drinking a warm apple pie on a snowy day. Yeah, there you go. That's a good approximation. If you like apple pie, it's like apple pie in a glass. You know what we should try sometime? Apple cider with some sort of like pie crust garnish. I'm not sure how that would work exactly because I feel like if you dip that into the cider, it would just disintegrate. But I feel like there's an opportunity there to like make hot apple cider literally more like apple pie. All right, I think we are done. Let's get the last of these kebabs off the grill. Go, nice. And we'll get this naan off. I'll slide that guy over there. All right. I'll send you all back inside, and I will join you in there momentarily. I think I got it. Buster's at my feet just in case lamb happens to fall onto the floor.
Oh man, I did not expect all of that lamb to fit on one plate.
It was close. It was a tight fit. Okay, I'll get this thing off my head. Okay, now we get to try and serve this up in a way that looks attractive and shows off all of the components of the dish, which I always struggle with. I feel like I lucked into a really good plating with that Caesar salad that we did on Tuesday, but...
That luck had nothing to do with that. You did a good job of plating that.
It was luck.
I always try following up Andrew after he's plated to like figure out an alternate tack. I didn't even take a picture of the Caesar salad that because we grilled whole wedges of romaine, and Andrew just plated 2 of them on a big plate and then drizzled some Caesar dressing on top. I tried chopping up like big 2-inch chunks of it.
Yeah.
To see if like a fan of leaf chunks would work, but it just looked like every single bowl of salad you've ever seen.
Okay, let's see. How much naan do you want, since I know you've already had pre-dinner?
I'll have half the naan, but I'm just gonna have 2 kofta.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna have 2 kofta as well, then you dish it up.
Well, like I said, it's technically 3 per serving. And some are a little bit larger than others.
Yeah, I'll have 2 little guys. And some quesadillas and nachos. And a single rib.
Let's see, what plate do I want? I'm probably gonna regret taking a small plate.
They're so photogenic though.
But let's try that first. Alright, so we're gonna naan. And we'll do some of our harissa yogurt. The harissa I made for the shakshuka if you're used to harissa being red, you're probably wondering why this yogurt is like looks more like pate. It's because the harissa ended up being quite dark, brown, almost black. So slightly different than harissa I'm used to, but it tastes really good. It's very smoky, which I think will go really well with the lamb today. It was good with the shakshuka too. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of our cucumber, tomato, shallot salad here. I'll probably do a lot more of this after I take photos, but for now we'll just do a sprinkling of it. I feel like that's one of the keys to taking good food photos is don't overdo it. Otherwise you don't see the ingredients. Alright, and then I got some arugula. Oh, nice. So Carlos, when I started out, I had pretty cheap knives, so I would just buy a new one when they became dull, which was after a while. But lately, since I'm getting slightly more expensive knives, I've started to sharpen my own. And I use, they sell kits that make it a little bit, like if you're not used to sharpening knives, it makes it a little bit easier to get the angle right, so they stay nice and sharp. So I tend to use those.
Occasionally, cooking restaurants that you can buy cooking supplies from will often have knife sharpening services. So if you have a knife that you kind of want to keep using, you can also often bring it back to them.
That is true too.
It usually needs to be a knife that you spend a little bit of money on, like the very basic, like $30 knife, you probably wouldn't spend a $60 knife sharpening on.
Yeah.
But if you spend $300 on a knife, then spending $50 to sharpen it.
Alright, and a little bit of arugula on top. What's up?
I'm sorry, I turned my microphone off.
Sorry, I thought something
No,
bad was going on.
I was washing a bunch of dishes outside and didn't want everybody to just hear whoosh. There are knife sharpening services at a lot of restaurants that you can buy kitchen supplies from. Usually you need a halfway decent knife to make that worth it. Like if you buy a $30 knife, you're not going to spend $50 sharpening it. But if you spent like $100 or $200 on a knife, then spending that money to lengthen its life makes a lot of sense.
There you go, there's the finished dish. I don't think I succeeded too well on being able to see the harissa and salad underneath, but...
Looks good. Are you going to plate any of this, by the way?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Like I said, you can't see it because I put it on the bottom.
Oh, no.
I'm going to put a little bit more harissa around the edges so you can at least kind of see that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But yeah, you mentioned the whetstone kits, Carlos. That's exactly what I mean. I keep meaning to do a stream with one of those.
It's a little harrowing. Every time Andrew gets that out, I'm like, I'm gonna go do a jog or run groceries or not be in the house.
It's really not that bad. And that's the point of them, is they make it a little bit safer, a little bit easier if you're new to it. And so it's super straightforward.
Oh yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I don't want to be around if something goes wrong.
He has no faith in my skills.
You have faith in your skills. I just am worried.
Alright, I'm probably going to take another kofta, but I think these are pretty big, so I just started with 2.